There is an ascendant, there is a growing, there is a increasingly popular force and energy in the conservative movement, in ideological vanguard. J.D. Vance and Stephen Miller. I want to brag on both of these incredible leaders for a second. They're both great friends of mine. I'm honored to call them friends. They are in the trenches fighting for the country every single day. Stephen Miller had, without a doubt, one of the best and most dynamic and informative, might I add, cable news segments that you'll ever find. Usually cable news is largely, especially CNN, just a waste of time. Love Fox News, but CNN is just a waste of time. Like, why would anybody watch CNN? Stephen Miller goes on there and puts on a PhD-level masterclass on exactly what is happening with the expulsion and the deportation of these Tren de Aragua invaders through a constitutional lens, and argues rather brilliantly, running circles around Miss Casey Hunt, why President Trump and this administration is in their rightful authority to do this, and why this district court judge is defecating on the Constitution when he dares challenge it. She was so in over her head. It was delicious to watch. Let's just talk. These are two young guns. You got Stephen Miller and J.D. Vance that are the ideological vanguard. They are simultaneously fighting for the president and his agenda. I wish I could play the entire 10-minute clip of Stephen Miller. Obviously, we can't on this program. But let's play a little bit of a snippet. It's worth every minute. Play cut 108.
So you called the judge's order just earlier today, quote, patently unlawful, end quote, and said that it was an assault on democracy itself. Does that mean that the administration is ignoring this order, and might you ignore future court orders that meet the criteria you laid out?
The President of the United States and his administration reserve all rights under the Constitution to conduct national security operations in defense of the United States. The Alien Enemies Act, which was passed into law by the founding generation of this country, men like John Adams, was written explicitly to give the President the authority to repel an alien invasion of the United States. That is not something that a district court judge has any authority whatsoever to interfere with, to enjoin, to restrict, or to restrain any way. You can read the law yourself. There's not one clause in that law that makes it subject to judicial review, let alone district court review.
Stephen Miller continues here on this constitutional scholar masterclass. Play cut 109.
Well, no,
if you could answer my question first,
in other words,
is Venezuela invading our country in a way that would apply this way?
So I'll answer yours and you'll answer mine. Under the terms of the statute, Tren de Aragua is an alien enemy force that has come here as detailed at length in the proclamation at the direction of the Venezuelan government. The statute says that a president has the ability to repel an invasion or predatory incursion that is directed by a foreign
state
government.
or a government, right? Are they a state or a government?
This would be, yes, it is documented that TDA was sent by the Venezuelan government in the proclamation. And here's an even more important point. Under the Constitution, who makes that determination? A district court judge elected by no one, or the commander-in-chief of the Army and Navy? The president and the president alone makes a decision of what triggers that determination.
So do you then think we are actually at war with Venezuela, the nation state of Venezuela?
You're not hearing me, and you're not understanding me.
You're not hearing me. You're not understanding. By the way, can we just get a side-by-side image up on screen? I hate to overly generalize, but you're going to have to indulge me in my generalizations for a moment. That's what's going on in America. On the right, you have very calm, stable, stoic, measured, wise, alpha male Stephen Miller with his life all together, beautiful family, defending his nation. On the left, she was so out of her element here, and Stephen Miller was just kind of playing with her. My favorite part of the tape, you got to get this, Ryan, is when she was like, well, according to your own ex post, and Stephen's like, nope, and then he reads it word for word, and some CNN producer then puts up the quote, and turns out Stephen Miller was right. She got even the quote wrong, that he was then rehearsing, or that he was then saying. And of course, she had people in her ear, obviously 3 or 4 producers piping in, trying to give her one-liners. It's just a perfect picture of what is going on in the country right now. It really was a 10 out of 10 masterclass. So you got Stephen Miller. We're going to play that one last piece of tape of Stephen Miller after the break, and then we have the J.D. Vance element. The future is very bright, everybody. It's not just President Trump that is shouldering this burden. You have an entire team. You have Hegseth. You got Marco Rubio. You got Elon Musk. You have this phenomenal deep bench, and they don't know which attack vector to focus on because it's a team of all-stars. You look at Trump 2 versus Trump 1. In Trump 1, we did not have this chorus. We did not have this chorus, this symphony of rock stars and all-stars. Okay, let's play cut 134, please. With the stock market at record highs, are you prepared for the next downturn? Corrections can be unforgiving. Smart investors know diversification is the key to financial security. Noble Gold Investments make it easy to diversify with gold. With over $2 billion in sales, Noble Gold has helped thousands of Americans add gold to their portfolios. Open a qualified account today and receive 2 5-ounce silver America the Beautiful coins as a thank you. NobleGoldInvestments.com. Don't let the next correction catch you off guard. NobleGoldInvestments.com.
Read the statute, Alien Enemies Act, 1798. It says if a predatory incursion is perpetrated by a foreign government, so it lists three qualifying actions. It could be an act of war.
It does say in the very beginning there has to be a declared war against a nation or a state. That's what it says.
No, wrong. Look up the statute. It's on my account on social media.
That's actually where we found
it earlier. Yes. It says, or a predatory incursion, or an invasion. The statute delineates 3 criteria for triggering the Alien Enemies Act. One is an act of war, which, by the way, an invasion is an act of war, but put that aside. One is an invasion, which this is. One is a predatory incursion, which this is. So it actually meets all 3 statutory criteria.
Wrong. The same way that J.D. Vance has his "Not Today, Margaret," or what was it, "Stop Talking, Margaret," or whatever it was, or just stop with your yammering, Margaret. Stephen Miller has wrong. And by the way, she was wrong. She has a whole platoon of producers. This is all she does, right? This is all Miss Casey Hunt does. Her job is to do 1 hour of just reading a teleprompter. Her whole day is just configured around this. Stephen Miller is up at 5 in the morning. He's got 3 kids. He's a phenomenal husband, a resolute fighter for the country, governing 9 different things across, and then he has to get ready for a cable news hit, and she still can't be prepared for it. I got to play one more here. It's Stephen Miller, and then we are going to play a little bit of J.D. Vance. Play cut 112.
Under a proper reading of the Constitution, district court judges provide relief to individual plaintiffs seeking relief. District court judges do not have the authority, as a general matter, to enjoin the functioning of the executive branch, but their authority is at its lowest point when the president is exercising his powers as commander-in-chief. And I asked you a question, you never answered it. Can a judge enjoin troop movements overseas? Can a district court judge enjoin troop movements overseas?
Stephen,
yes or no?
I am not going to get into the
just say no, and then you'll know that I'm right.
This is a
just
separate
say no,
question,
and you'll know that
Stephen.
I'm right.
Okay, we're not talking about other troops
the
overseas.
president.
I need to ask you about something else.
The president issued a proclamation delineating in detail how the Venezuelan regime sent this gang, this terrorist organization, to our shores.
Just say no and you'll know that I'm right. I mean, that is just a chef's kiss masterclass. And Stephen Miller's absolutely right. A district court judge does not have authority to enjoin a president's ability to do foreign policy matters. By the way, breaking news, Chief Justice Roberts pushes back against calls to impeach judge who rules against President Trump. A legal mind here that we know very well in the program has told us exclusively, quote, "This is completely improper for a Chief Justice to do." The courts are totally out of control right now, everybody. Understand that the sovereign, the power in America, has been primarily concentrated into two buckets the last 100 years. Into the unelected bureaucracy and the unelected courts. Almost all of the power has been broken into those two buckets. The sovereign is actually in the people, and that's why we have presidents. Can President Trump can he impeach judges? Of course he can. He'd have a hard time to do it, but constitutionally, it's one of the only checks and balances in our system. And now John Roberts is coming out trying to say that it's wrong for Donald Trump to do this. They are creating the constitutional crisis here because they are losing their grip on power. President Trump used the law of the land to repel and to be able to deport Tren de Aragua. Could you imagine if every time we have to deport somebody, they have to have a separate hearing? They have to have a separate deportation hearing for every... That's the way that they could destroy deportations through bureaucracy. They could end the deportation effort by grinding it down to a halt by using the federal bureaucracy. Did these judges win 7 swing states? Did these judges win a popular vote mandate? Chief Justice Roberts wrote, quote, "For more than 2 centuries have been established that impeachment is not an appropriate response to disagreement concerning a judicial decision." Chief Justice Roberts, you are totally wrong here. You are totally wrong. Quote, "The normal appellate review process exists for that purpose." Oh, the appellate review process will be used, and I think your Supreme Court will end up siding with President Trump. But a district court judge has no authority or jurisdiction over foreign policy decisions of a duly elected president of the United States.